I'm Alana Leffler, Head of Retail Marketing for the Americas at Cushman and Wakefield. And with me this afternoon is Mike Azarian, Director for Retail Services from New York. How are you, Mike?
Doing well, thank you, Alana. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's the conference going for you today?
It's going great. Some nice meetings, meeting some new people, seeing some new faces and old faces, and it's always good to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're down at the Cushman and Wakefield booth, very busy today, a lot going on. We're at number 2235, so if you're here, come check us out. So Mike, in the New York market, you've been around for a long time, you've seen a lot of different trends take shape. Right now in the current landscape, what are you seeing landlords doing to work with their tenants and to get deals done?
Sure. It's a good question. I think that it's a question that's asked every day in a lot of our meetings with landlords and tenants. A couple things, really. First, it's deal structure. So now that you have significant vacancies in certain markets, landlords are asking themselves the question: how do I make myself competitive, right? And part of the deal structure now, which might not have been the case a couple years back, how do I get that proper rent number? And you see things like more TI dollars being thrown at deals, more turnkey spaces being delivered to the tenants. So landlords are reaching economically, spending more of their own pocket to attract tenants to get deals done. Another major thing too that everyone keeps talking about is this pop-up market, right?
Yeah.
So you have a lot of situations now where you have quality tenants. I mean, take Gucci, for example, on West Broadway, right, where they're signing a short-term deal with a long-term option. So, you know, that's not something you would have seen a few years back.
Right.
But now that's becoming something that's more acceptable, more of a market standard. It's hard because the banks don't necessarily want to lend on a lease of that structure, but you got to do something. You got to activate space, especially if you're a landlord who owns a lot on a block. You might control an entire block, therefore you control an entire market. So you got to show some activity, got to show some movement. So the pop-up tenant is a somewhat solution or band-aid to figuring out where the market could be over the next couple of years.
So when that happens and you do have a tenant coming in under pop-up circumstances, do you often see that deal translates into something longer term based on the sales that get done at that time frame?
Yeah, I think that's something that we'll know over the next year or two, because a lot of these deals have happened more recently. So we'll see. Yeah, we're hoping that they do. One thing that I'm predicting is that you'll see maybe now there's a committed structure to what that option could look like. If the market doesn't necessarily change, you might see conversations happening on that market option to see what that will look like. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, that's exciting. We'll see what happens, and it's definitely pop-up season right now. So there's a lot of those deals being done, and it's the time of year for shopping. So I'm sure that we're going to see some good returns. And thanks for joining us here, and thank you guys for joining us here live at ICSC New York.
Thanks.